This is Pro Pickleball.
This is the PPA Tour.
It's been a watershed weekend already for Pro Pickleball. First network telecast yesterday on CBS. Hope you enjoyed that. Finals today on CBS Sports Network. Brett Haber alongside Cameron Evans. Cameron Irwin is courtside. We've got women's singles now, and you're about to get a look at the 15-year-old sensation Anna Leigh Waters.
Yeah, and we're going to see here the kind of athleticism that has made her great. Anna Leigh Waters and Catherine Parenteau have had a great rivalry. Looks like Parenteau has found the line there.
So that's Anna Leigh Waters. That's Catherine Parenteau, 27-year-old from Montreal, now at home down in Naples, Florida. Drop shot winner from Parenteau.
And Waters covering a lot of ground already. Parenteau able to conserve some energy.
You saw Parenteau earlier in the mixed doubles. She was partnering Riley Newman. They lost in 2 straight games to Lucy Kovalova and Matt Wright. We saw Anna Leigh Waters yesterday in women's doubles with her mom, Leigh. They beat Callie Smith and Kovalova.
Yeah, there may be a bit of a silver lining there. If the mixed doubles match had gone to 3 games and hard fought, it could have taken some of the endurance away from Parenteau. Instead, she's going to be pretty fresh for this singles exchange.
Winner off the bounce from Parenteau. Morgan, for those who haven't seen Anna Leigh Waters play, maybe new to the sport, after this point, tell us what makes her so special.
Good parenting.
That's what I tell my kids.
There's nature and nurture. We talk about it sometimes. But she has an inbuilt drilling partner and a coach in her mother, Leigh Waters, who is a phenomenal tennis player and now pickleball player that has inspired the young lady to take on the world. A nice cross-court forehand forces a net error from Parenteau.
So Anna Leigh and her mom Leigh started playing pickleball just back in 2017. That's good. That doesn't seem like that long ago for a player of her caliber, but she would have been 10 at the time, now 15. They live, the Waters do, in Delray Beach, Florida, but they left Delray to go to Pennsylvania to avoid Hurricane Irma back in 2017. They stayed with Anna Leigh's grandfather, Leigh's father, who helped them pick up the sport.
Yeah, it's a beautiful story, and the game is very grateful for their presence. And she's plucked that one out of the air, rolled it cross court. That's a very tough shot to play. Any kind of movement forward usually inspires players to blast at the ball.
5 on the trot from Waters. Make it 6. And this will be a timeout.
The familiar sound of paddles dropping indicate the side out.
Catherine Parenteau has seen enough, wants to stop the momentum. Timeout on the court. Back to LA in a moment.
I'm Leigh Waters, and I'm a professional pickleball player. On the court, I consider myself like a fierce competitor. I'm super competitive. I have been my entire life. But I just love the sport in general, and when I'm out there, I'm super passionate about my game. And when I'm off the court, I'm super fun, loving. I love doing exercise even when I'm off the court. I'm super energetic. But, you know, even when I'm off the court, I think about pickleball all the time.
She is competitive, and there are mom and dad Leigh in her match kit. Dad Steven with looks like a cool Pilsner in his right hand.
Yeah, he's not afraid. He knows he's not going to be the coach.
So they'll feel a lot better with daughter Leigh up 6-2 after the 0-2 start. She talked in that soundbite about being competitive in everything she does. That includes soccer, where she was as good as she is at pickleball up to a point of her junior development.
It's going to be tough for her to knock off that volley. A little bit of luck in favor of Parenteau. It gives her the ball back.
She was so good at soccer that Leigh had an offer from one of the German Bundesliga teams to come over and train with their academy players.
And Parenteau just missing that serve long. That's the kind of pressure that Waters puts on, especially in singles. And now a missed return. 3 points away from game 1.
8-2.
Oh, how about the volleying from Parenteau?
She found just the inside of the line there. Read that passing shot well.
2-8.
It's a good opportunity to drive a forehand. Forces the error.
3-8.
That's off the tape. And good.
Yeah, Waters gestures that she's sorry, not sorry.
Your score is 3. What do I have? You have 8. 8-3-2. Point.
Parenteau missing that down the line passing shot.
9-3.
And it hits behind Waters, and it works.
Yeah, that is one of the advantages that Parenteau does have over Leigh Waters is the deception. Waters tends to be a little predictable. However, she paints lines and can run for days.
Can't track that one down. We mentioned during the doubles that Parenteau was a college tennis player, first at Arkansas, then at Michigan State.
Waters dropping that ball eventually, making it a tough volley for Parenteau.
9-4.
Pass up the line, finds the court.
Yeah, beautiful look. She uses that left hand so well to shape this shot, dropping it underneath the contact.
Did you say there are more one-handed or two-handed backhands in pickleball?
Much more two-handed backhands in the women's game. Generally more single-handed backhands in the men's. Ben Johns uses a great two-handed backhand, as does his brother, Riley Newman. Whereas Matt Wright, for example, a one-hand exclusive player.
Just wide, so things getting a little tighter.
Waters calling the timeout, looking to halt momentum.
All right, so 2 points from the game, but Catherine Parenteau has climbed back in. Timeout Waters, back in a moment.
So I'm a mom. I have 2 kids and a wonderful husband. I always go for everything 100%.
I'm a father of 4. I live in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
On the court, I'm pretty calm, but I'm also a little bit of a mama bear.
Off the court, I'm a pretty chill guy, honestly. I like just a good hangout.
When I'm off the court, I think about pickleball all the time.
Certainly worked for Leigh Waters, who won her first pro title when she was just 12. 3 years later, she's best in the world.
Yeah, the writing was on the wall. We all saw it at a young age.
6-9.
Well, there was the opening. If that ball just a few inches higher.
9-6.
And Waters gets to game point.
Yeah, there was a lot of power on that backhand. She didn't have a real chance to step into it, so to be able to create that kind of energy. Oh, too good.
Backhand winner to wrap up game 1, Leigh Waters. Got a little nervy, had to call a timeout as Parenteau made it close, but she took control again.
They are prodigious timeout callers, the Waters girls. Very impressive. A touch on that two-handed backhand to open up this down-the-line shot. Very impressive.
So the 15-year-old with game 1 over the 27-year-old, game 2, right after this. Could have been Leigh Waters if she had accepted that offer to go train in the Bundesliga in Germany. She said no, committed to pickleball, and we are all luckier for it.
Yes, we shall never know. But what we do know is she's got the 1-game advantage over Parenteau.
0-0.
Blasting that forehand just long.
0-0.
And a nice serve from Parenteau, forcing the return error.
1-2.
Parenteau just having a quick chat with the crowd.
And off to a quick start. Again, this is how she started game 1, 2-0 up.
Yeah, and I foresee if another point slides, a Waters timeout.
But the side out comes. By the way, all of what we described from Leigh Waters at age 15, and that's with having taken all of 2020 off from the sport.
The tournament side, for sure, but it's not like she stopped practicing.
Correct. The sport continued, tournaments continued. She decided, and her family decided, that the risk of COVID was too great, given how close they are with Leih's grandparents at home.
Yes, for sure. Her and her mother, though, on the practice court
For
day
sure.
in, day out. That time used very wisely, I'm sure.
Leigh is homeschooled by her grandmom, Anne.
2-2.
The sweetest woman. So, Parenteau finding the backhand side, forcing the error. Scores all tied up.
2-2.
So we'll see so often is Parenteau using a higher looping serve, trying to keep Waters back off the line. In contrast to the singles, often the women will stay back a little bit longer in the singles game.
Dribbles off the tape and over for Parenteau. Is it more advantageous in a way to hit your return with a slice because it gives you more time to get into the kitchen line?
Yeah, so you see there, Waters using a slice. Just chipping that ball. I think when they realize the serve is short enough that they are really definitely going to be going into the kitchen line, that's when the slice can really pay dividends. Just thread the needle down the line.
3-2.
Oh, with a nice chip. Perhaps Waters thinking it was wide.
That one was. So Waters to serve again. We know that, at least I was reading that she's developed a bit more of a float serve, Anna Leigh, that she uses this year.
Yeah, every player is now looking at the serve as more of a weapon. It wasn't too long ago where it was a way to start the point. These days, there is less and less room for that kind of attitude in the game. More players really electing to hit harder, faster, paint the lines a little more often, plenty of spin. Ooh. Beautiful work from Parenteau to drag the ball cross-court on such a acute angle.
3-4.
Hits behind Parenteau, and that's good. To further your point, using Anna Leigh's own words about more and more power being in the game.
4-3.
Bangers are cooler than dinkers, she says.
Sounds like something she would say. However, I remember when snowboarding first came out, and snowboarders were cooler than skiers. But it's a bit cyclical, isn't it?
Two plankers are cooler than knuckle draggers. Open court for Anna Leigh Waters, as she has kind of Xeroxed the first game here after falling down early, as seized the lead.
6-3.
Stab volley to extend the point, but that left a lot of open territory for Anna Leigh Waters, who is now 4 points from the title at Riviera. Anna Leigh Waters, 15 years old, in control, a game of 7-3 up in the second. Brett Haber, Morgan Evans, Cameron Irwin, our CBS Sports Network crew. Been a big weekend for pickleball. Crowd has enjoyed it. I think the players have enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. Anytime they get to play the game in such a beautiful environment and on network television, just fantastic.
This is a celebrity haven here at Riviera. Lots of high-profile members. Anna Leigh got to play with Jamie Foxx last weekend in Tarzana at the Skechers event.
Yeah, he's quite a good player.
Oh, could not quite return the favor on the dribbler.
Yeah, the luck in Anna Leigh Waters' favor as well. Just a couple of points away now.
9-3.
Tried to go
and
ATP,
she's,
winds up in the crowd.
Meeting a lucky customer.
3-9.
Parenteau did a great job of moving her left and right. If she's going to have her chance here, she's going to really have to start taking the legs away from the young Waters.
4-9.
Beautiful rolling forehand.
Not every pass has to be whistling with speed.
No, sometimes it's the stick, sometimes it's the carrot.
9-4.
That one had some stick to it.
Certainly. Yeah, if the ball's high enough, you'd it'd be a little amiss to not just go for it.
4-9.
Oh, the dink goes wide.
She had the opportunity, a lot of open court.
You saw her gesture.
Yeah,
Why didn't I put that ball up the middle?
I think she anticipated that Waters was going to be heading in that direction, trying to wrong foot her.
Corner to corner, that speed from Waters induces the error, and this is match point.
10-4.
Well, she didn't really need to go for the drop there. Had a good chance to drive the ball deep to the backhand side.
4-10.
Just long.
It's just been some of those shots at full stretch where Waters has kept in control while Parenteau just floating them long.
And with that, Annalie Waters makes it a perfect weekend at Riviera, wins the doubles with Mom, and wins the singles on Sunday.
Impressive work from the young lady. She looked to have great control of the ball, moved exceptionally around the court, and just did the basics well. She kept control of the ball when there was an opening. She didn't try to go for the lines exactly, but always looked to keep the pressure on. Great power, speed. Serve has really improved. That's a big part of the singles game.
So, Annalie Waters gets it done. Another trophy for her mantle, collecting them rapidly at the age of 15. The ranking already #1 in singles, and that'll be solidified. We'll come back and hear from our young champion in just a moment. It's been a productive 2 weeks in Southern California for Annalie Smith. She won the doubles in Tarzana last weekend, wins a pair of titles this week at Riviera.
She really is the dominant player. Annalie Waters has done it again. The singles realm has been owned by her for quite some time now. Catherine Parenteau is a fantastic player. Not up to the task today, unfortunately.
All right, let's go down and hear from our champ. She's standing by with Cameron.
Yep, I've got Annalie Waters right down here. Another trophy in the trophy case for you, but let's walk through this one a little bit. There was a moment in game #1 where there was a 3-point run late. You took a timeout, then you came back out of the timeout with the side out and 2 straight points after that to close out. What was the conversation to yourself in that moment?
Well, pickleball happens a lot where someone's up by a lot and then the other person comes back and wins. So I knew that Catherine definitely had that in her. So when she won a couple points, I was like, let's just take a break and reset and, talk to my coach, who is my mom. But I came on the sidelines. I was just thinking about, a little bit more what I could do myself rather than what Catherine was doing and got my mind off of it a little bit. So when I came back out here, I was like, all right, let's just rip some forehands. And I think I did that and won a couple points.
Now you talk about necessarily your own mentality, right? Focusing on your side of the court. Can you maybe define or describe what your competitive mentality is when you step on the pickleball court?
Yeah, I'm a really competitive person, as you can probably tell on the court, but I think that's one thing that's different about me than most people is that literally I will sprint to any single ball on this court. I think I actually fell into a couple fans on the sidelines. But yeah, I was just having a great time out there, and definitely my competitive nature helps me on the court.
Now, it's always fun having to face off against Catherine Parenteau, a great competitor in her own right. How did she challenge you in today's matchup?
She always challenges me. She pushes me to my limit every match. She's a great person, too, off the court. So I love competing against Catherine, honestly. She's beaten me a couple times. I've beaten her. We go back and forth. But, no, it's just a super fun match, and hopefully I'll play her soon.
Now, you were talking to me just off camera now about the fitness level that is required to be able to play this sport, and especially singles. Can you maybe give us a glimpse into what it looks like day in and day out for Annalie Waters in terms of training and being on the court?
Well, I used to be a really competitive soccer player, and I played midfield, so I did a lot of training that way. Tons of running, yeah. But since then, I have quit playing soccer, so I've really had to focus on my endurance. So I'm in the gym about 5 days a week, doing some court stuff, obviously playing. So I think all of that just goes into it. But yeah, I mean, on the court, I think I find a little extra something there sometimes when I need to. But yeah, it's super fun.
Awesome. All right, well, I think it's time for you to grab the hardware. So come on over, Connor, and hand that to Miss Anna-Leigh Waters, your champion for women's singles. Fred Morgan, back to you guys.
It's becoming a habit for Connor Pardo to be handing trophies to Anna-Leigh Waters. He better get used to it. It's probably going to happen for a long time.
I think she has a long career in front of her, just 15 years of age. What she's done already in the sport is fantastic to see.
All right, so a singles trophy for Anna-Leigh. When we come back, a little bonus coverage of the women's doubles from yesterday at Riviera as Anna-Leigh teams up with her mom. Stay with us. Anna-Leigh Waters wins the singles.